My name is Robert Rodriguez, entrepreneur for the last 20 years. Started in the care delivery space, doing urgent care work, dealing with patients day in, day out with the most basic needs. The company that I started in basically May of 2021 is, in essence, focused on addressing a lot of those needs that I've seen over the past 20 years, and doing so quickly. So, one of the interesting things that I've seen in this, and it's part of in essence, the problem. Everybody talks about the patient access problem, Well, one of the reasons you have a patient access problem is that you have a provider capacity problem. And it's not like making providers is a really easy thing to do. Its manufacturing capacity is really tough. And so as a result, it requires rethinking to some degree what it is a provider should be doing on a day-in, day-out basis, patient-by-patient basis, in order to increase patient access. My experience is point solutions that I've seen, having looked at software for the last 20 years, have not really helped. In fact, I think a lot of the stuff that's come down the pipe, frankly, makes things worse for the doctors. I remember doctors doing charts, handwriting them, and getting done really quickly. And now it just takes a heck of a lot longer to finish up with a patient. Physicians are asked to do a lot more work for, frankly, less reimbursement, particularly on an inflation-adjusted basis. Labor shortages are killing you in terms of seeing patients. And as always, patients always want more for less. Okay, that's always the case and always has been in this business. So it's a big problem. Okay, and that's where we're trying to carve out our niche as a software platform and as a company. So HelixVM is a software platform whose intent is to basically make that interaction, particularly for like the low acuity stuff, chronic or episodic, as efficient as possible. And by as efficient as possible, I'm talking about going from seeing a few patients an hour to being able to actually tend to 10 plus patients an hour. That makes a dramatic improvement, okay, in the economics of a practice. It makes a dramatic improvement in the compensation for the physician. Okay, and it also addresses the patient access issue, okay, which is, hey, the physician has more time to basically actually tend to a patient problem, okay? We've launched the platform in basically June of 2023, and we've seen, obviously lumps when you launch something, but we've actually grown very, very quickly. We've seen very, very good demand from the marketplace. We've gone from about 300 patients in our first month with a lot of lumps on our head to this month we should close at over 4,500 patients that we've seen. And it is pretty impressive right now from a growth perspective, okay? The ARR, the annualized gross revenues, if you just take today's numbers from this month, are over 6 million. We think that that number can easily triple literally over the next year, okay? A few things, just in case, is we're doing a lot of same-day low acuity patients. We're doing a lot of patients who are fundamentally healthy, under the age of 55, mostly. We're doing mostly commercially insured patients. We're servicing all 50 plus 1 states. Plus 1 is DC. And our goal is to be, in essence, kind of an Uber-type model, an Uber-type application between physicians and patients. What I think is most neat from a practitioner perspective and from a provider organization perspective is that the economics of what we do are dramatically better, okay? And our benchmarks, we look at kind of PCPs, we look at urgent care, we look at telemedicine, and we see a lot of struggles, economic struggles, and particularly recently, okay? What we're doing from a platform perspective changes the economics. And there's some numbers there on the left-hand side just to show you just some of the basics: revenues per hour, cost per hour, and then obviously the return across the assembly process for the different players. Okay. What is it that's interesting about what we do? Okay, from a pure technology perspective, what we're basically doing is we're marrying patient intake, okay, a self-service patient intake, through a process that we run a patient through, in essence, an AI, and through like a triage clearinghouse is the word I like to use, in order to, in essence, create for a physician what looks like a SOAP note in their inbox, okay? I'm not asking physicians to do anything different. I'm simply asking them to read a note before they actually tend to the patient. They can tend to the patient asynchronously, they can tend to the patient synchronously. It's really kind of up to the patient for how they want to be seen, either on camera or just basically, hey, here are my symptoms, here's my medical history, here's my family history, here's a list of some of the medications that the patient is taking, and the patient is looking for a refill of Xanax, for example. Okay, can't go see my physician, need a refill of Xanax, pretty low-hanging fruit from a medical perspective, and that's basically an example of what we're trying to solve, and do so in a very, very efficient way. As mentioned, we think that this low acuity or convenient care market, these aren't my numbers, by the way. This is another company's numbers called Solve. We believe that it's a very, very significant market, that a significant amount of just the volume that hits the patient's offices, the doctor's offices, is in essence convenient care, low acuity care, simple medicine that requires obviously analytical input from the physician, but for the most part isn't a heavy lift for them. The heavy lift today is all of the stuff that has to happen before that physician is literally sitting in front of the patient, before the physician is sitting with the patient or on camera. Okay, so it's a pretty big market. Like, we have a lot of opportunity in terms of the amount of patient capture we can do. Okay. As I mentioned, we are a seasoned team. We're not young folks. I wish I was, but I'm not. And so, as my wife will remind me many times as I go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. So we are, but we're very experienced. We're very experienced in medicine. We understand the care delivery world, and we also have a really, really good understanding of AI, as well as a very, very good understanding of what its limitations are. Not just what it can do, but also what it can't do today. Today, we're looking for a lead investor. We're looking for a $10 million round in the first quarter of this year. We're looking to evaluate a round of $50 million based on our growth rates and where we are today. And the principal use of the proceeds would be to, in essence, fund the growth of staff, okay? So let me explain why. Today, while we are, obviously like most startups, we're losing money, our projections are that we should be net income positive pretty much by January of this year, and from a cash flow perspective, we're also going to be positive with our current OpEx structure. We should be positive by basically April of next year, maybe May, thereabouts, depending on how our spending works. So we're very excited financially about where we are and where we're going. So we're looking to raise money in order to start adding some of the key personnel. There's only so much HR I can do. There's only so much finance I can do. There's only so much hiring I can worry about. And so what we're trying to do is bring that in, as well as also really bulk up the engineering team, because we have a very, very aggressive set of development goals. This slide basically tries to get at, kind of what we're trying to achieve. It has a lot of detail, but I think that what's important from this slide is that obviously we're looking to continue to grow our kind of business to consumer, okay, which is where we are today, but we also want to start developing what I would call a business to business or a business to physician practice, and obviously that does require, again, more expertise from a fundraising perspective. We believe that the business to consumer and the business to business can operate off the same platform, okay, because it's pretty much the same exact technology. The way that we do integration is, in essence, through an RPA into the physician systems. We don't ask physicians to do anything different other than, hey, read our note, okay? And we should give you all the information you need in order to treat. Over the long run, we view that the moat to our business is, in essence, not only the fact that we have trade secrets in how we do it, because there is a lot of learning in what we're doing and how it works, workflows, how patients react, patient adoption, patient criticisms, patient feedback, physician feedback. But we also have some underlying technology and some patents that we filed. And interestingly enough, there was some presentations earlier today and on Tuesday that actually have some overlap with what we're doing there. So we think that we're also working really, really hard just kind of in the IP development space in order to at least try to carve out a bit of a moat around what we're doing. there are tons of companies. This slide doesn't even do justice. There are tons of companies that are doing very similar things to what we're doing. I think what's unique about what we are is, in essence, we're trying to basically do it in a marketplace type structure with physicians, and then we're also trying to add kind of a productivity solution underlying that platform, okay? Which is different than some of the what some of the EMRs are doing. It's different than what some of the telemedicine companies are doing, and some of the patient referral platforms. You know, they sort of touch upon some of the things we do. But fundamentally speaking, we think it's unique in terms of what it's offering. Okay. So we are really driving towards, as a goal for the company and how we view kind of our development, as, in essence, saving physicians a radical amount of time for the simplest care that they provide. Obviously, this is much more of a platform that's applicable kind of in a primary care, urgent care environment because of even in some ER type settings where you're talking about relatively simple problems that come and visit you from a volume perspective. But we also think that there are, even in the specialty practices, significant opportunity basically to, in essence, increase the productivity of the provider with the tools that we're building. Okay? We are, from a goal perspective, we want physicians to make more money. That's really important to us. Like, you should get more money for the hours that you're putting in. And we're trying to do that in a very flexible way, so that way it could be, again, similar to like an Uber, where they might have a full-time job, but they also have a part-time job. Okay, we would be the part-time job. So we're looking to really partner with physicians, put more money in their pocket, and help them basically see patients and earn more income. And then last but not least, and I think this is important, and I know there was a conversation earlier today in a presentation, that we view this as being sort of a 24/7, we call it Avatar MD inside the company. We view this as being something that's turned on all the time. And we view this as something that a patient who has an existing relationship with a doctor can literally go onto a PC or a phone or whatever electronic device, and in essence, access that physician and that relationship, but do it through sort of a visual representation that's linked to treatment protocols that are consistent with how the physician works, through the AI, through the clinical data, through the triage clearinghouse that we have, and be able to, in essence, create an opportunity, again, income opportunities for the physician within their existing practice, within their existing structure, to, in essence, see patients and obviously be able to build the work, build the insurance carriers, and obviously complete the financial cycle.